use the raise your hand function. We'll start with Rob Lewis, then Ben McKee.
Coach, just as you head into SEC play, has the depth been as good as you had hoped? Is that maybe the best part about your team?
I think so, Rob. That's certainly a positive. I don't think there's any question about that. I thought tonight or this afternoon, the minutes that Olivier got were really big for us. I think it really helped him being out there a lot more at critical times to do what he was doing. And so I do. I think that, and I think that Urosh is a guy that we have confidence in. Both of those guys. EJ has shown that he's a guy that can be a factor for us. I would like to see more consistency out of John and Eve, to be quite honest with you. I don't think those guys have played up to the standard that we expect from them right now. But overall, the depth, the younger guys tonight struggled. And I think they struggled from a preparation standpoint. I don't think they've had to go through at any point in time in their young careers where they've had this many days of a grind, both mentally and physically. And they just didn't have the sting they normally have. The turnovers, but I will say this too, Rob. I thought Upstate had a terrific game plan. They were going to shorten the game, which you look at it, this was probably as good a game as we could have getting ready going into conference play because it's different than what we played. And it shows that as much as we want to maybe play at a faster pace or do this or do that, the other team has something to do with that. I thought they were really well coached tonight. They've had 8 days off. I do think at times we played like a tired team. I don't think our guys weren't trying to play well. I don't think mentally they didn't want to play well. But the grind that we've been through is something that we needed, and hopefully it's going to help us going forward. And just so you know, too, this sweater I have on is a birthday gift that Tom Sakoviak asked me to give him. Plus, he wants a little Christmas bonus. But he asked me about to wear this tonight for him. So I want you to know I'm doing this for Tom Sakoviak.
And just real quick, Josiah left the game, got looked at. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. I thought Josiah played terrific tonight. He's the one guy. I thought Santi did his job when you look at the assist to turnover ratio, making some threes when he needed to. He had one sloppy turnover that he can't have. He had a poor breakdown at the end of the half where he didn't get back, and they could have made that layup there at the end of the half. And you don't want to end a play like that. But Josiah was good in a lot of different areas, not just rebounding the ball, but his deflections tonight. We didn't get as many deflections as we want, but he probably had more than anybody.
Coach, you mentioned Olivier playing well. Just what did you see from him, and just what did you like about his performance tonight?
Well, the best play he made was the block. You know, we always talk about fix-it plays, but too many times when we talk about fix-it plays, we go right to Yves Pons, who does a good job of fix-it plays. But tonight he did. Keon has taken more charges than anybody on our team, and those are fix-it type plays. But Olivier probably looked more relaxed overall tonight than any point in time since he's been here. I thought he really moved well without the ball. When we had some different things, he made some really nice basket cuts, and he was very comfortable catching the ball and finishing at the rim.
Mike Wilson, then Troy.
Yeah, Rick, also on Olivier, how much does he change, the upside of this team as a whole when he's able to come in and give you those minutes defensively, rebounding, and contributing and scoring?
It's huge, Michael. It is. It's huge. And again, I want to say this. We feel like Urosh is there too. It's just, it's hard to go 10 deep at times. But I do know this, and we've said this to these guys, at some point in time this year, we're going to need them all. For whatever reason, we feel that way. I really appreciate the preparation at Urosh. He's as unselfish as any player that I've ever been around. He knows that he needs to get better in some areas, like we all do. But yet he is a guy that a big-time teammate, always pulling for his team, and a player that, again, I'm telling you, we're confident enough to put him in the games, and we think he'll do the job. He would have been good for him to have a game where he gets the minutes like Olivier had tonight, but he did finish the game really well the other night, passing the ball, scoring, and he will work, and he will be ready when he's called on.
Rick, you mentioned the younger guys struggling tonight. You had a lot to tell Keon right before halftime. Is a night like tonight a good learning experience for them to understand what they can't do?
I think it is a good experience for him. I do, because again, and I'm going to tell you, There aren't two better kids, but they're young. And they're doing some things like Jaden's playing against a guy tonight he's probably never heard of, that we told him has the ability to make threes as well as anybody we played. And he looked surprised when a guy raised up, and then he looked surprised again, like, what am I supposed to do? That's part of the growing process where you've got to realize he's playing at a higher level than he's ever played. They're learning a lot. They are. Like the other night when I put Jaden back in the game, I said, hey, Jaden, I want you to go in the game, and I want you to think like a point guard, play like a point guard, and get Olivier and Roche some confidence by really trying to set those guys up. He goes back in the game, and he charges. And now he's got 5 fouls. He's got to come out. And after the game, we said to him again, he said, no one's ever told me that. I've never had to do that. So that's what's fun coaching these guys, because you're trying to help them become everything they want to become, and yet they're doing it in the heat of the moment in a game like this. But the great thing is the upside for those guys is there, but it's our job as a coaching staff to keep putting demands on them and asking them to do more than they've ever done before and show them things in games that they've never thought about. But tonight, there's no question. Their preparation wasn't good yesterday, and we didn't do a lot yesterday. It was more mental. But they've never gone through a grind where and there's no doubt they want to play hard, and they're going to play hard. They take pride in that, but it's just the mental side of it that's right before Christmas. Here we go, and probably thinking that, we've been in a couple games where, 30, 40 points, and you think they're all like that. They're not. But it goes back. I think Upstate had a terrific game plan, and for us right now, it's probably what we needed more than beating somebody by 30 or 40 points.
Wes Rucker and Nicholas Hill.
Rick, how did you feel about some of those threes that Upstate made? Seemed to be pretty tough shots. How did you feel about the perimeter defense overall? I mean, you see 9 of 18, but was it that bad?
Well, they shoot. We talked about the 3-point shot with St. Joe's the other night. These guys actually shoot a better percentage, and they've got experienced guards that's been doing this for a couple years, and they're all back. They once we started out, we started, and I think tonight the fact we got to do some trapping, I think that was good for us. Even though we didn't, I think we got maybe one out of it that I would say would help us a little bit. Gave up one certainly on a dunk in transition, but what I was most, and I told the coaches this, I did not like our ball screen coverage. We normally are better at that, but they were, again, I thought they handled it. I think you got to give their players or coaching staff a great job. The other night we got spread out too much against St. Joe's, and then tonight they were patient. Our guards did not do a very good job of getting back in front of the ball, and they kept stringing it out. Then we switched like we do, obviously when the clock's under 10 normally. They did a great job of getting it there. I thought that they went after John Fulkerson in the post, but the threes, they're going to make some. Again, that's what they do. But yet, with that said, can we do more? I don't know if you can do more other than try to push them out a little bit further. And overall, we were okay, but still we let some key guys that we know we're going to have to guard. You go into every game wanting to try to take away their top 2 options the best way you can. And we've done a pretty good job of that, but not very good tonight. And you got to give their team, their coaches, and the players respect, because I thought they played with great poise.
Coach, you've played now 4 games in the past 8 days, and obviously that's a lot of games to play in such a short amount of time. So do you think you'll be looking back at this time period later on in the season when you get to the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament in terms of handling a lot of different matchups in a short amount of time?
We've got to see a lot through these games. We've got to see different styles. Tonight was a much different style. And if I'm answering your question right here, what I would say, I do think the different matchups that we've had to deal with throughout these games that we've had to put in there, and again, the preparation that goes into it, I do think we've seen a lot. Teams have gone zone against us, which I'm glad, because we've gotten to see some zone. We handled it okay tonight. The only thing we're not doing, to be quite honest with you, I don't think we listen well enough, mainly the younger guys. I think, again, tonight, I don't think John Fulkerson got to his spots quick enough. And I think, too, conditioning is something that I think we'll get better there. like I think most teams will. The stoppage set certainly has hurt all of us at some point in time. But overall, the schedule that we've had to play that we got put together, I really appreciate the teams that we were able to help us, juggle some things here or there. And now we'll get down to where we're going to be playing 2 games a week and get into a rhythm that way, which hopefully will help us and we can continue to move forward.
Finish up with Coach, with Mike Wilson, Ben McKee, then Madison.
Rick, what's the kind of plan for the next week for your guys? Are they able to go home for Christmas? Are you guys having something here? I mean, what's kind of the expectation throughout the next week?
We're keeping the guys here. They're going to stay 3 days. But again, the administration has done a great job in terms of helping get the parents that can be here. And most of them will have a chance to be here. Obviously, our foreign players and Devontae won't be able to, parents can't get here, obviously. But the fact is, talking to parents, getting a feel from them too, I think we're all concerned because the one thing that we all know that we want to play basketball. We don't want to do anything right now to create disruption with our team. And we just came to a conclusion it's best that we all stay here and hunker down and get some rest. And there's no doubt we need some rest. Our young guys probably more than the older guys. And so these next 3 days will be off. We'll come back and I guess we'll have to go through a testing protocol, Reed, right? Once we get back, and even though we're still here, and then we'll get ready to get into conference play.
Coach, you mentioned that you didn't feel like you were getting enough from Fulkerson, and I believe you mentioned Pons as well. Why do you feel that is, and what do you want to see from them to get them going and get the most out of them?
Consistency is the big word for all of our team, but I think Eve's got to be more consistent rebounding. I think he's got to get to the foul line more. I don't care if he makes a 3-point shot all year. I know this, that when he takes his shot that he works on, he's a high percentage 3-point shooter. But the fact is, he hasn't rebounded the ball the way he's capable of night in and night out. I think he should average double-digit rebounds. And because of that, I think he should be able to get to the foul line more. I think he should be the hardest guy in the country to block out. He does defensively. I don't think there's any question he's locked in there trying to do that. And it goes back, and I mentioned this to the team. We have really high expectations for our guys. And are we demanding? We are. Because I don't want any of those guys to look back and think, man, I could have done more. I could have done this. I could have done that. But we also learned tonight that different teams can play different ways. And but I just think those 2 guys, because of the time they've been with us, we have extremely high expectations for them to where we expect them to be on top of it every single night. And if you go back and look through this stretch that we've been on, I would say arguably the guy that's been the most consistent overall has probably been Josiah. When you think of what he's been able to do, VJ's done some good things. Again, no one's been perfect by any stretch, including me and the coaching staff. But the fact is, we have very high expectations for our older guys in terms of them showing the way for these guys that are going through some of this for the first time.
Coach, I got a couple hard-hitting questions here for you. First off, is that a Christmas sweater lighting up right now?
This is actually Tom Satkowiak's wardrobe. This is what he wears. He came in and asked me to wear this, and it's very ugly, to be quite honest with you. But he asked me to do it, and I did it so I could also take a picture of it or a video and send it to my grandkids. But if you saw it in person, you wouldn't be very impressed.
What's your favorite Christmas gift you've either given or received in the last few years or this year?
Well, I told our guys today, my comment to them during our power talk was when I was a kid, it was certainly all about me. Enon wouldn't apply back then. It was all about me and wanting to get presents. When I was a kid I think I was in the 2nd grade, and believe it or not, our house caught on fire on Christmas Eve. The furnace blew up and there was smoke everywhere. My mother told me to run down the street and pull the fire alarm. And my sister went with me and said, we called my grandfather Daddy, go get Daddy and get him up here. So we got to the fire alarm. I pulled the fire alarm. I told my sister, you go get Daddy and I'll go back, and with one thing in mind, I went underneath the Christmas tree and I was looking for my presents to get them out of the house. And my mother asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm getting my presents. But now it's all about giving. I've been blessed. God has blessed me with so many wonderful blessings. And this time of year, it's about Jesus Christ and about what he gave and wanting to emulate that. And we've got so many people since I've been in Knoxville that do so many. I could sit here tonight and tell you so many people who've done so much for people here in Knoxville who are not, they don't want it, but they need it. And it's been a fun part to be a part of different organizations that have really taken care of a lot of families in Knoxville this time of year. And that's what I'm most thankful for and most proud to be a part of.
And Christmas this year for a lot of people is going to look so different. So what's your message been to your team? Maybe if they are sad that they're not going to be around their family or that it does look different, just to stay positive and just remember you're so blessed and to see them.
Well, I'll go back to when we first came, we left Nashville. I mean, you think about it, it's been a much different year for so many different people. And we've got so much to be joyful for. Because, I mean, you think about what's happened over the last, 6 months, 7 months. People have lost their lives. I mean, people have lost, grandparents, parents. People have lost a lot. But when I look at it, there's so much to be joyful for too. That where God has blessed us in a lot of different ways, and with our players, we've asked them from day one to sacrifice. It's going to be different for them, and again, it's hard this time of year because I've always believed that your family, you should be at home at Christmas as much as you can and be with your family. I just think it's a really special. I think it's the greatest day in our, in the country. The day that Jesus was born. I think it's the most important day. But with our guys, we've just tried to again do everything we can. And again, I really do appreciate our administration working out a way to get the parents that could be here, to be with each other and as much as we can do. But I also appreciate the parents saying, hey, we know our kids, our sons want to play basketball, and whatever we have to do to protect them during this time of year, we've got to do that because it's important that they want to play. And so I think we've all have a lot to be thankful for. And I know this, that our parents, our players, there's not a better group in the country, and I'm thankful that we get a chance to do what we've been able to do with them.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you all. Merry Christmas.